Let's do it here. Another edition of Guys on the Go. All the sports talk you need from the week in less than 40 minutes. Before we get into it, we got to give love to our partners, the people that make this thing possible, our friends over at Mohawk Honda. Wherever you listen to this podcast, whether it's in Seneca Falls, whether it's in Geneva, to Albany, to Syracuse, it's worth the drive to Glenville, New York to check out the vehicles at Mohawk Honda. How much would they love that if you drive across upstate New York to get a vehicle? They would. I know it because I know the people there. From Greg Johnson to Cam McKenna to Lindsay Hare to John and Service, MJ, Brian McKenna. We could run through all of the names of the great people there at Mohawk Honda. It's worth it because it's people that you can trust during the car buying experience. It's a new year, new deals going on for 2022 rides. I know it from experience because the Pilot EXL is out in my driveway right now. Love the new vehicle. Love driving around, making those road trips. Got some cool events coming up on the way here in March. I'm lucky to have the EXL in the driveway, and it can happen for you as well. People that you trust, inventory is there as well. All the stuff you want in the car buying experience can happen for you by making the drive to Mohawk Honda in Glenville, New York, where they always go out of their way to please you. And our friends over at Johnstone Supply in Troy. It's always fun leading off with these two great partners on this podcast because you have seen the growth from these businesses and great things happening. Johnstone Supply in Troy has been helping the Capital Region and upstate New York for decades, and they can continue to do that for you for your winter projects and all the winter things that are on the way. I say winter things because I don't even want to say the word. I'll say it now. Storm. Yeah. Could be coming Friday here in the Capital Region. Is your furnace ready to go? Is your boiler? Have you been putting it off all winter? I'm not going to judge you if you have. But now's the time to call Johnstone Supply in Troy. 518-272-5922. 518-272-5922. Have that number saved in your phone. If anything goes wrong, it shuts down. You got to get out of the dilemma. Or you're just been putting that, I don't need a furnace. I'm okay. I don't need a new boiler. Stop putting it off. You've got a number, and you get 2% off if you just mention it's a John Goodman furnace at Johnstone Supply in Troy. So you've got the John Goodman furnace, 2% off just by mentioning Godzilla Media, Goz on the Go, whatever it might be. You've got the number to contact if anything goes wrong for this winter. And you've got a place on 6th Avenue to try to find those competitive prices for your winter projects that are still around the corner. Johnstone Supply in Troy. Check them out on Facebook as well to help you this winter when you're preparing for that cold, frigid temperatures. All right, let's do it. Guys on the Go. All the sports talk you need in less than 40 minutes. In my notes to lead off the podcast this week, I was going to tell you about how the New York teams are boring and it's a snore fest. And this week in February in particular, and compare it with that July week, are the two deadest week in sports. So I was going to just do like 5 minutes on how boring New York teams are. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste your time with that. We all get that. I want to talk about Big East basketball. I'm taping this late at night as we usually do here, Guys on the Go, so we get all the storylines from earlier in the week and we prepare for the weekend. I cannot get enough of Big East basketball. And if you've been that casual college basketball fan that's been watching from the side with kind of one eye on it, but waiting for the NFL to end and then get into college hoops, post All-Star game and everything else, put on the Big East. I just watched a 3 overtime game between Providence and Xavier, and the Providence Friars are my favorite team to watch. These guys refuse to lose. And I know that's a cliche in sports, refuse to lose, heart of the champion, blah. Seriously. From guard play to being smart on defense to not committing dumb fouls and dumb turnovers, although they had more turnovers than usual tonight. What a great victory in front of the Dunkin' Donuts Center. The crowd there, I've actually covered games out in Providence, Rhode Island. Great arena there to have fun with. Providence wins that. We had UConn Villanova earlier in the week, the back and forth in that game. UConn wins, but they don't cover because of Andre Jackson, Albany Academy's owned, missing the free throw intentionally. That's one of those games where I actually wish I didn't wager on it. I had UConn winning big. I did. I thought they were. I love watching UConn play. I wish I didn't touch that game because it was too good of a game to have money on back and forth. So we get that. I know earlier I just went back and checked Guys on the Goes, and yes, coming up later on, we will actually mention what my wagering numbers are. Match was with Butler and UConn and Nova and everything. Big East basketball is the best to watch. Remember, what, a season ago? Georgetown won the Big East? Now they stink. Patrick Ewing, that was one of the big storylines of March Madness and everything else. Seton Hall is terrible right now. And I say terrible because of the expectations for the Pirates this season. Do you want to keep going? I could break down the whole Big East if you want. It is the best basketball in college basketball right now. The ACC is down. The Big 12 can be a little bit stagnant on defense. And the SEC, a lot better than what it was 5 years ago, but we know the true top dogs are Kentucky and Auburn. The Pac-12's been good, but the bottom of the Pac-12's brutal. The best college basketball, the most exciting college basketball this season is Big East basketball. And now some people start to say this. Guys, you're a Syracuse fan. Why can't we see your Orange get back to the Big East? Man, I wish for those days sometimes. I wish. We can make an argument the ACC hasn't been good for Syracuse, both football and basketball, but money talks. We know that. How about like Siena? There have always been rumors that maybe Siena could be an athletic 10 team because they're a basketball first school. Albany's going back and forth between what they really are, football, basketball, lacrosse. Buffalo does fine in the MAC. It's the Big East, though. There you go. I could have given you 4 minutes about how much it sucks to be a fan of the X and Y New York team because the storylines are so boring. No. I'm giving you what to watch instead. Big East basketball. Pull out your phones, get on DraftKings and wager and have some fun watching some competitive hoops. February, and the next time we talk, March. It's enough with Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God. So I was so excited because of the week's worked out this week that my son and my wife are back in Syracuse visiting family. She's got the week off for winter break. She works at a school. So I had some more time here to kind of balance my hours. I got a new laptop. I got some new equipment. Maybe you're enjoying how the quality sounds a bit different this week. So testing out all this new stuff. And I got an opportunity this week because of the cryptic Instagram post involving Aaron Rodgers of what was going to happen. Rodgers goes on this thing talking about how gracious he is for the teammates, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like excited to watch the Pat McAfee show. I get to watch it live. I usually just watch it in cuts and cut-ups and everything else. But all right, Rodgers, McAfee, let's give this live. Let's see what happens. Right out of the gates. I don't even want to use the cut of it because you've probably heard Rodgers already say, well, we're not going to give people what they want today. Then what the hell was up with the Instagram post? Now, I've heard a lot of theories on this. I've heard some people say he was just in his feels because of what happened with his now ex-fiancée, Shailene Woodley. Some say it's classic Aaron Rodgers that just wants the attention. Other people, and I kind of like this one the best, says, who the hell cares? Why do we care what a grown man is posting on social media and have to interpret what it really means? Is that what sports talk has been reduced to now, is figuring out subliminal messages from grown men? LeBron's actually the king of it. But I wanted to know. And what my new Aaron Rodgers theory is. Do I think he's going to retire? No. Do I think he wants to play for another team? Absolutely. I think he wants out of Green Bay. And I say that because he's constantly said he wants out of Green Bay. I think the appreciation of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay has run its course. We are at Favre level at this point of, am I? Am I not? Should I come back? Should I not? How badly do you want me? I could go to another team. We did this with Favre like a decade plus ago. And it's bizarre that Rodgers doesn't see it's just a different version of it. So he can go off to another team and have success. But I wonder now, is Aaron Rodgers just trolling everybody? Does Aaron Rodgers get, I don't know, off on this stuff? Because we've always heard that Aaron Rodgers always says he doesn't care what people think about him, but he clearly does care what people think about him. When it comes to opinions about COVID-19 or his 2-week intentionally vomiting and pooping cleanse. Oh, God. But he cares. He really does. And it goes back to the interviews with the 60 Minutes piece about how tall he is and how people perceive him in his battles with Tony Kornheiser and other media members in the past and how he can control his narrative. He loves this. McAfee's his buddy. It's not that hard for an athlete to get social media. Hey, if I post something cryptic in mid-February when there's not a lot to talk about, I bet this becomes a huge story. And Pat, you're going to have one of your biggest rated days. Yeah, man, I'd love for you to do that. I'm coming off a vacation. Let's do it. And it worked out. Now, look, someone would say that's bizarre if Rodgers planned that stuff out. What's bizarre about it? An athlete who is going on another athlete's show to benefit his friend is hoping that his success is created more by this happening. It's not staged. It's not set up. Then what was it for? Like, we can't be that naive to think it just randomly happened the day before. There was a reason to it. Oh, man, I'm going back in the subliminal diving of grown men, grown tweets on social media. I just don't want to play the act anymore. We should care about everything Aaron Rodgers says, and that's what it is. The whole interview, I'm just like, ugh, enough. I don't need to hear about the cleanse and how you feel about this and this doctor and that. And I get it. That's been the entire thing the whole season. From 20 minutes to 25 to a half hour. People want Aaron Rodgers to be interesting. And God, does he want us to say how smart and interesting he is? He's different. Now, Dan Lebitard has called him an artist. He wants people to do that. He wants to be known for more than a quarterback. And the intentions of that is, I guess, fine. You want to be known for more than your play, but we don't have to care. We don't. I don't. I care where he plays next season. I want to know if my fantasy team is going to need an update. I want to know if the Buccaneers are going to have him as competition in the NFC. I won't want to hang out with Aaron Rodgers. If someone tells me he figured this whole media thing out and he's just trolling us and he's getting the views, I don't even believe that at this point. Just a weird guy. I feel like I'm quoting Ace Ventura. You're just a weird guy, Ace. You're a weird guy, Aaron Rodgers. The level of narcissism and arrogance and everything, enough, dude. Enough. I can't. I don't root for him anymore. I want to. And he's not even saying anything that's harmful or mean, although the COVID people, again, would viciously argue with me that that's not true. But I guess he's not swearing. I guess he's not being racist. Or, as Levac likes to say, punching babies. It's good for some people. I'm just done with the Aaron Rodgers thing, and this week proved it. It's been too long since I've been able to talk about my guy, Zion Williamson. I was looking through podcasts. When was the last time I actually talked about Zion? Are we like a year ago from the Zion thing? For those who don't know, who might have not listened to previous podcasts, I'm a huge Zion Williamson fan. I liked Zion when he was in high school. I think he could not ignore the greatness that was on the way. From the dunks to the following on social media and more. I remember as a kid in middle school getting that LeBron James, the chosen one Sports Illustrated, thinking, okay, this is the next guy. And I never, in any sport, from football, baseball, any sport, ever felt like one athlete would ever get that same type of hype. Bryce Harper was close. High school cover, dropped out of high school, get to the... Bryce Harper is close, but Zion is different. And I couldn't wait to watch what happens. He gets to Duke, and the hype is almost ridiculous, where they have the Zion Cam sitting there watching him. He's no doubt the number one pick. And when he is healthy for the Pelicans, he was putting up good numbers. And now we're at the point that the stats and graphics are up there that Zion, in comparison to Greg Oden in their first 3 seasons, has only played 3 more games than Greg Oden. The most bizarre thing about the Zion thing is we don't know what's actually wrong with him. What is wrong with Zion? Fat is what some people would say, just fat, doesn't want to play, detached, and it came back into the headlines this week because of his former teammate, J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick torched the Pelicans and Zion Williams in a take on First Take on ESPN. The takeaway, it's a lot of takes in a row, was that J.J. Redick called Zion a detached teammate, that C.J. McCollum has never heard from Zion after the trade. That if Zion is supposed to be the face of the franchise for the Pelicans, why didn't he reach out to his teammate? Hey, this is Zion. Hope all is well. Can't wait to hang out. They didn't even talk on the bench. Like, isn't Zion still going to the games? Is he not going to the games? Is he not talking to his teammates? And JJ said that. He's a detached teammate. He doesn't care about what's going on. Now, was that with immaturity? Possibly. It seems more like he just knows he's never playing for the Pelicans again. That's what it's more like. Even when Zion, you go back to the day of the NBA draft lottery, he laughed when it was the Pelicans for the number 1 pick. He wasn't even probably predicting it would be the Pelicans. And the Pelicans is a franchise that have lost Chris Paul and Anthony Davis and all these other players of the past. Isn't it just as simple as that? That Zion doesn't want to be there. He's more worried about his brand and his marketing and his contracts and everything else, and he can't do it in New Orleans. He's like, I'm not going to waste my career and waste getting hurt here. Trade me. Now, he's never said to get traded, although that's been reported from his camp that he doesn't want to be there and everything else. But we're watching this battle in the media now of the Pelicans versus Zion. Here's something to remember about Zion. Not until this season Had there really been, from a personality standpoint, criticisms of Zion Williamson? If anything, we heard about how happy he was, smiling, engaging, nice, borderline ego-less. That's what we'd heard about Zion Williamson, a borderline modern-day Shaq, where he had so much fun playing basketball. That's what Zion was. So what was the transition? Money? I mean, he was going to get money no way, even if it was pro or college, right? There was talks he actually wanted to go back for Duke's sophomore season. So how does somebody go from a likable, joke around, jolly person to being a criminal who doesn't want to work out, be detached, and doesn't want to be there, doesn't care, blah, blah. How do you go from loving to hating basketball? That doesn't even make sense when we say it out loud. It's more that people are trying to find ways to be Zion's the villain. When the New Orleans Pelicans might be forced to actually trade Zion, how do you sell that to a fan base? Well, some of the start might be not including Zion in the season ticket promotion for the 2022-2023 season, which, of course, got attention on the internet. But it's over at this point for the Pelicans and Zion. When you don't know what the injury is, and you can tell the player doesn't want to be there anymore, what else can the Pelicans do? Wait it out like we just saw with Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons caused far more of a stir in media than Zion did. By the way, Ben Simmons, how about returning soon? What are you waiting? What are you returning soon? From what? What are you waiting for? Just after the Philly game? I won't even do Ben Simmons today. But if you're the Pelicans, you got to trade him now at this point. What are you waiting for with Zion? The storyline is never going to go away, and I know Pelican fans are going to be pissed saying, what did we do wrong? What did the Pelicans do wrong? We wanted the guy to play. We celebrated for season tickets. We tried making trades for him to stay, involving that CJ McCollum deal. We have all these players to be the ones that compete. What else would you want us to do? So Pelican fan, don't feel bad about it. NBA fan, don't feel bad about it. Zion just doesn't want to be there. Simple and easy as that. I'm sorry if you're a Pelican fan. You guys did your best. But in the world we live, where Jimmy Butler gets to decide where he wants to go, and James Harden gets to decide where he wants to go, and Carmelo Anthony, my guy, does too. Zion says, look at all these guys and what they did. Why can't I be the next one? And if you're the Pelicans, the longer you wait, the less you're going to get. Soon enough, Zion will no longer be a Pelican, but he will be an impact player again in the NBA. April 23rd, we're getting the fight. Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. Let's go. Boxing fans like me, and especially Tyson Fury fans like me, are excited for this news. Here's the biggest thing about Whyte Fury being signed. The fight is going to take place at Wembley Stadium. If you listen to Guys on the Go, how many times I brought up that location, that venue, Wembley? How I thought Wilder Fury 3 could be in Wembley, Tyson Fury's hometown, the United Kingdom. I thought this is what it should have been all along. Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, two English fighters in Wembley. But here is the power of Tyson Fury. He's fighting Dillian Whyte, who maybe across the pond might be a more popular fighter. But here in America, most American fight fans, or even sports fans, maybe have never seen Dillian Whyte fight before. And it's a contractual obligation that he has to fight him because of the WBC and the other boxing federations. But nonetheless, the fight is going to happen at Wembley Stadium, and there are projections that they are going to sell it out. That's right. 90,000 people to a boxing bout in the UK. Now, just for some clarification, BT Sports is the provider of sports out and across the pond. I don't know if they're playing Richmond Greyhound football games, but that's one of the situations that was battling back and forth. How and when will the fight air? Well, here in the States, Tyson Fury has a contract with the ESPN, but are we going to see Fury hit the ring at 6 p.m. Eastern? Because the 6-hour time difference, that's midnight in the United Kingdom. Is the fight going to be in the afternoon? How is the fight schedule time going to work for England? I already know most Americans are going to say, put it when we want the fight to happen. Well, if it's at 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, it'd be 3 a.m. in London. Not exactly convenient for them. We'll find out when it happens. But Tyson Fury fighting at a 90,000 seat arena. This could be the pinnacle of his career. That's what could be happening. estimated that Tyson Fury is going to make $30 million for this fight. And he's already gone on social media hiatus. He said, we'll call you in a few weeks. We got the press conference, and after that, we're training for the big bout. 28-2 Dylan White. But this is what it's more about. People are going to tell you boxing is dead. It has no relevance, blah, blah. He is going to pack Wembley Stadium for a fighter who nobody in the States has ever heard of before. Not Anthony Joshua, not Deontay Wilder, not Francis Ngannou, or anybody else that was rumored to fight Tyson Fury. It's the Tyson Fury power worldwide. I cannot wait to watch this event. And Tyson Fury is going to be a favorite, and Tyson Fury might continue to win. But here's the one thing we've learned about Tyson Fury fights. They are close and they are entertaining. Even though I'm a Fury fan, how many times has Deontay Wilder gotten close to knocking him out? Wilder, can we get a you versus Joshua fight, or is AJ going to dive against you again? Dodge the competition. Hell, I'd love to see that too. Juszczyk and Joshua is expected to happen in the UK as well this spring, but okay. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for to fight Tyson Fury again? Deontay, get out there and do your thing, man. Let's get ready. Tyson Fury. The fight is on. I intentionally ended that one that way. The fight is on because it's a perfect segue, and I know it's not a perfect segue when you reference the segue. Don't worry about that. About the new battle that's going on between the WWE and AEW. Now, some would say, guys, it's not a new battle. We've been talking about this since All Elite Wrestling launched just a few years ago. Where professional wrestling fans are going to watch it. Are they going to all become AEW fans or WWE fans? I told you this last week when we talked about the shift for Cody Rhodes. And it is more evident now than ever before. The cool factor, the it factor, the I can't wait to see what happens week after week that pro wrestling has been missing is starting to shift to the WWE. It is. Look at the most recent television ratings that Raw had its biggest rating in months. Take TV ratings for what they are in 2022. If WWE cared that much about it, they wouldn't put all their clips on YouTube and social media. So careful for what that means. But still, there's an audience that's slowly coming back to the WWE. Now, of course, it's WrestleMania season. And whether it's Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Brock Lesnar as a cowboy, Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair, Ronda Rousey, you can go through the list of why and the ways in which this is happening, that the shift is coming back, but that all adds up. All of it matters. And the fact that at this point, we don't know what Cody Rhodes' role is going to be. We saw a promo on Monday Night cut by Edge that basically it's an open challenge, but rumors are flying around that it could be the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, who, according to reports, just re-signed a new contract with the WWE. And what a career he's had now. It seems so long ago that Styles and Sting were the guys least likely ever to appear in the WWE. And now they're carving out different legacies, one in AEW and one in the WWE. How and which way Cody will debut? Will it be like the Hardy Boys in a ladder match? Will it be interference? Will it be the next night on Raw? Can they hold Cody Rhodes that long? All those questions make it more fun. Now, AEW, there's reports that Tony Khan might be releasing some superstars. But what did Tony Khan do the moment after Cody Rhodes was let go? He went 10 minutes into the Busted Open radio interview, and Dave LaGreca and Mark Henry didn't lead with Cody. Trust me, as someone who has done sponsored interviews for a majority of his career, I know how those interviews go. I know Tony Khan or AEW's paying for that airtime. And LaGreca and Henry are smart business guys who don't mind that they're making money for their respective company and radio station, that they don't want that to happen. To lose that potential partnership for cash and everything else, that matters. The mockery of the interview, like 10 minutes, don't ask about Cody. Then it's like, oh, I think Cody has something planned, but don't worry, we got a big announcement on the way. Every time, man, it's the boy who cried wolf for Tony Khan at this point. Like, I know how to get clicks for people. I'll just keep going back to the well. CM Punk, MJF stuff's great. Eddie Kingston's good. So there's still really good stuff going on in AEW. That's not a diss. It's not as if the product's not getting better. But you can't control the cool factor, the perception. Vince McMahon, right? He's the king of this. Perception means everything. Andre Agassi, perception is everything. That stuff matters when it comes to professional wrestling and AEW. What we are seeing and we are feeling a shift that we really haven't felt before. And that's good. The back and forth here with the WWE and AEW makes it even more exciting for what's coming up for the March pay-per-view for AEW and the April WrestleMania shows in the WWE. I battled back and forth here on what I want to do for this final topic before we get to Weekend Wagers. Did I really want to do Paul O'Neill's number should it should not be retired? If you want a full conversation on that, if you're a big Yankee fan, head over to Levac and God's most recent episode 22222 and hear that discussion where we talk about, the Yankee great as he's going to enter Monument Park. So that discussion's better there. I promised you, and I know for some of you, this is the reason you come to the podcast. You scroll forward. I'll keep saying it. I see you. I see you. Some of you scrolling. About our wagers, about how they're going. Here we go. Up on our visual side, you've already seen this nice picture here. Look at this. Here's the best advice. And this is how I tease it on social media and on the episode description. Keep track. Look at this. I'm actually learning. Now, that total at the bottom, 17-14, nothing's more boring than a 500 wager on sports. But moneyline plays in the NBA 6-1, and combined since the start of 2022, I am 8-4 on the NBA. I actually hit a 14 parlay before we taped this podcast. No NBA plays. But that's the thing about what you learn wagering on sports. I love college football. If you listen to the show, you follow Godzilla Media, that has been one of the cooler, more exciting parts. I get to expand a little bit more on the college football stuff and kind of build a little new audience. And I know some people, as you find out of the non-traditional media platform, people come for certain stuff. They come maybe for just the Levac and Goz podcast, just for this podcast, getting there with Goz Wager. I get it. From the other Godzilla Media podcasts too, you might know me for something different, college football coverage. I got my butt kicked in college football. The NFL, NHL, not a super hockey fan, but I like wagering on it. I'd say the NBA, I know the players, but watching from a first quarter all the way to the fourth quarter, that is a difficult thing for me to do. But here we go. Here's what I found out. Maybe the less thought, I feel like Stu Gotts now, the less thought that goes into it, the better success. There is a theory. Keep track of your picks. Best advice I can give you. All right. Before we get into the weekend wagers and give you more advice on how you can win some cash and maybe follow my own theories, we're going to tell you about our friends over at Lily and David Fine Jewelers. Guys, if you're prepping for a wedding or you're looking to pop the question, whether you're single or maybe you just want an anniversary gift, something special for her birthday, why not go to Lily and David Fine Jewelers? That's where I had gone to just a few years ago, bought my wedding band, and more importantly, the engagement ring. That's right, I'll put a little bit above because the wife's still getting compliments about to this day. People that have continued to help people in the capital region. That connection off of Route 50 at their new spot at the shops of Wilton continues to happen. Now, the big event going on March 4th, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and March 5th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. next weekend, we're talking. The wedding band event. Lily and David Fine Jewelers, you get one wedding band, you get the other one for free, or 40% off, whichever works out best in your favor. That's right. They're going to help you save some cash prepping for your wedding. Maybe when you're in there, you go with the buddy, go with the friend. All right. You do the wedding band sale. I'll buy the engagement ring. Or you do the wedding band sale and I'm going to get something for her for our anniversary or her birthday, whatever it might be. Go together. Make it happen. Lily and David Fine Jewelers at their new location, the shops of Wilton. And tell them when you stop in on that first weekend in March when you're looking for the wedding band, going through all the sales and more, you heard it from Goz on the go. Jared Lozier, by the way, from Northeastern Insurance. He's going to be a guy who can help you with those purchases. Maybe you've got that engagement ring, you want a little insurance policy on it. Maybe your business, your home, your cars, the things that are most important to you, or some of you just assume, all right, I'm good, I'm covered. I don't have to worry about my insurance policies. This is the best price. How often are you checking quotes? Well, you might not have the time to do it, but Jared does. That's what he does for you. Email him today, jaredl@anymail.com. jaredl@anymail.com. Give him a call today, 518-956-3753. That's his number. If you're looking for a quote today to save some cash, Jared is your contact. Would not have it any other way. Love having Northeastern Insurance on our side, taking care of us here at Godzilla Media. It's my favorite thing to do. Go to Lily and David, talk to Jared. You want to support the podcast, you want to support Godzilla Media, that's how you do it, with two cool things like that. All right, weekend wagers. Now you've got my record right in the open. I feel naked. I feel vulnerable with all the records out there. I'm still going to give you some picks. Picks are simple and easy. We do 3 NBA picks this week. You already heard my record. I was excited to get on this. I like the Clippers over the Lakers on Friday night. Lakers are done. LeBron's so checked out. Let's talk about Bronny playing with him. Team stinks. There's Rob Lincoln, him or bad. Lakers are done. Give me the Clippers off the break to cover in that game, plus 1.5. I also like the Pistons against the Cavaliers on Thursday night. Cavaliers have had a great break. People talk about how wonderful they are, get in their heads a little bit. Detroit's hungry. They're young. Give me the Pistons to cover 7.5 in that Thursday game. So I like the Pistons. I like the Clippers. And you know what? Let's do the Nuggets. Do I bet on more teams than the Nuggets and the Avalanche? I got some love out there in Colorado for them. 4.5 is the spread against the Kings. I know Sacramento's trying to find some relevance, but here's the thing. The reigning, defending NBA MVP, Nikola Jokic, as we like to do on the podcast, didn't play in the fourth quarter. You've got all the great players of the NBA battling in the All-Star game. He doesn't play in the fourth. Did he not want to play in the fourth? Was he gearing up for the season? Was it disrespect? We'll figure that all out when the Nuggets play the Kings. All right, those are my picks. Hopefully we go 3-0. Now that I know my record, let's go 3-0. Next time we talk, it'll be March. March Madness is almost here. My favorite time of the year. Talk again next week.